Hello, this is Shiva, and today we're going to have a quick look at fixing some of the very apparent issues in PinBuilder. Now, for example, some of the games that are included in here are, to be honest, not very playable, and they're very, very simple mistakes. And if you remember, in episode 4 of my 8 ball series, I was showing how to make some very, very minor changes, like adding a couple of objects and even moving them around, and the equivalent of a millimeter or two, and how much that they can actually change how your table plays. And in fact, first off, I'm going to actually show you 8 ball, and I've had to make a change. And I knew I had to make this change a couple of days ago because there was a playability issue that was there. And yesterday I had to redo the loop itself here at the top. As you can see, it's ever so slightly different. And on top of that, you can see that it was in fact the top right hand side. You can actually see it because the only way to actually fix this was to make this particular wall a lot bigger. You can actually see it is all the way out here. Now I should mention with PinBuilder is that you kind of need the wall object to be a minimum length for it to curve. Okay, and the original object that I use like that doesn't curve. Okay, it's the length from here to here is too small, and even if it did curve, it goes all over the place. It's virtually not really usable at that length. And if you're wondering why I keep ranting about having the ability to have control points and the ability to add and delete control points to an object so that you can shape things a lot better. Well, now, this is one of the primary reasons. It's tough to do a curve in PinBuilder, a lot tougher than, say, in Future Pinball or Visual Pinball. I can do this entire curve shape, have it look a lot better, and have it almost completely seamless. And I can do that in maybe 30 seconds. This took almost 15 minutes for me to get it so that it looked at least halfway decent. And with everything else in PinBuilder, in that the amount of time you save, especially not having to write computer code to run your game, it's sort of lost because of the way that you have to build and use objects in this game. And hopefully this will be fixed, because to be honest, it's getting to be a real pet peeve with me how we place walls and plastics, and the fact that they all need like multiple objects to be able to form even close to a complex shape. So it really needs to be changed, and I'm going to keep going on and on and on about it because it really bugs me. Anyway, about 8 ball, the reason why I had to change it, well, it's simple. If you remember in episode 4, I was talking about objects and how you need to change them to make the play of your table better, and they're all very simple changes. One of the things I noticed with this game was the shot that was coming from the left-hand flipper, and it was coming up this lane, and what it was doing is it was tracking absolutely perfect, and then it would hit the thumper bumper here, and then the thumper bumper would promptly kick it all the way back, and it was a repeating shot. Now, if this was the actual version of 8 ball and we were spending quarters on it, we wouldn't mind that, because we were quite literally scoring twice with one shot. It would score once, then it would score back. As a computer game, though, I have a little bit more pride in my work, and I do take a lot of pleasure in doing pinball tables. It's an incredibly creative process, but I also want my tables to be the absolute best that I can do, and that was not very good. That was a very bad flaw. So I corrected that now. Now the ball goes like this, and it actually misses the bumper and actually drops right back down to the flippers. It's again a better shot, and it does again increase the gameplay of this table. Just having it just blindly hitting the bumper and then going all the way back is certainly wasn't cutting it. So it occurred to me after doing that maybe we better have a real good look at a couple of other tables, especially the example tables. Now, and the first thing we are going to look at is Star Destroyer. Now, first off, a lot of people will be playing this game. As soon as they buy the program, this is probably the first game that they're going to play, because it's firepower, right? And the game, after the last update, really showed some pretty big problems. And what I did was, just before I made this video, I did a quick fix of this thing, and and of course I had to save it so that I could test it out. So I put things back the best that I possibly can, but to be honest, it actually plays a little bit better than it did before. But really, the first thing you are going to see is an incredibly bad plunger shot. In other words, what happens is when the ball is kicked out, you pull the plunger all the way back, and the ball travels up the plunger lane, seems to hit something, and then promptly just falls right back. So I'm hoping that this is that I've made my undo to sort of react like this. So let's start again. Wait for the ball to pop out. I actually think it's a little bit too long, the delay, but that's just me. Let's try this. I'm not going to put this all the way back because it did it. But normally what happens is that it's going to hit right at the plastics where the target is, and then it's just going to bounce back. And then this is the other problem right there. Wow. Okay, I guess I better fix that one too. So anyway, let's have a look here. Let's put this in edit mode, and I'm just going to show you how to do very simple fixes and really hammer home the point that spending 30 seconds on something can make a huge difference. And the first problem was this guy right here. This is, as you can see, is the rubber. Now, first off, is actually not needed. These are stand-up targets. They don't drop down, so you don't really need a rubber behind it. So the easiest thing to do is just hit delete, and there you go. I also noticed that once I fixed that this post here was a little bit too far over to the side. And again, but you do kind of need that. So what we'll do is we'll just sort of sneak it in. And it also appears to be rotated wrong. So what we'll do is we'll hit the E key. That gives us the rotation. And then just holding the left mouse button down, we can rotate it just a little bit. We'll release it. We'll press the W key. We'll reselect it, and we'll move it back into place. And what we want to do is prevent this section right here from sticking out too much, because it is in fact collidable. And I haven't quite done it, so we'll do it again. We'll press the E key. We'll hold the mouse, the left mouse button down. We will try to get this as good as possible. We'll try that. And we'll even sort of move this thing down a little bit so that it doesn't interfere as much. There you go. Now the other problem with this is the ball gets hung up in this area, because this is completely and totally open. There's nothing there. to prevent the ball from bouncing around in this particular area. And if you notice if you notice, the light bulb is in the wrong place. I don't know if the light bulbs are actually collidable. I don't think they are, but we kind of need to change that too as well. If you see in the graphic, the lane is actually supposed to start here. That's a problem with the graphic with this table. It's actually supposed to start like right over here instead. There's a good ½ an inch that is being sort of cut off. So, you know, again, that's something that kind of really, it doesn't really need fixing, but it's a little annoying. So anyway, what do we do to get the ball nice and smooth? Well, how about a wire? Just move the wire in place. Just set the location, the starting location right here. Go up to the hold the Alt key and the left mouse button, and now you can actually move the wire. There you go. So what will happen now is the ball from the plunger will now be nice and smooth, and it will go all the way up. And as to this guy, well, that's pretty much a simple fix. It's obviously there's a collision right here, and that's exactly where the ball is hitting, and that's the reason why it's getting hung up on here. So the easiest thing to do, press the E key, hold the left mouse button, and just change the angle a little bit. It doesn't need to be precise, but it does need to play a lot better. So there you go. Now let's just save the changes, Control S, hit the Tab key to get back into play mode. Hit the 5 key to add a credit, and hit the T key to start the game. Wait, well, 4 or 5 seconds, I guess, for the ball to finally pop out. And then with the plunger, you use the mouse wheel. I use a mouse and keyboard. Use the mouse wheel to move the plunger down, and then just hit the left mouse button to fire the ball. Let's see how it goes. Oh, nice and smooth, right? Way better than before. Okay, off we go. That's fine. Let's tab back out again. I'm going to double save this just to make sure that it stays. And now let's have a look at another table here. So we hit the escape key to get back into the main menu. Now, there's one table I really think is not very good, and that's Heavy Gunner. It's not the most interesting design on the planet, but I've also noticed that it's got a very, very bad flaw in its gameplay. And again, it's something that should be pretty easy to fix. Let me just get this stupid thing. Ah, there we go. So where is it? Well, it's right here. If the ball comes down here, it goes down this little lane, it hits this little star trigger, and then it has a little thumper bumper that shoots it right back up again. And you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. The problem is that it hits is that if you have your settings so that this game plays a little bit faster, what will happen is it will hit the thumper bumper and then go all the way back again, and then it does this about 5 or 6 times. So how do you fix that? Well, you can do it in multiple ways. For instance, you can put a little peg right about there. That will fix it. You can set the thumper itself to be not as powerful. Let's make this 125. Actually, I find the thumpers to be generally too powerful with this particular game. I'm going to do that at 1.25, but those two solutions will fix the game, and it will prevent the ball from going back and forward multiple times. All right. So that's actually, again, a very, very, very simple fix that you can do. The other thing I think I should mention is with the last update, we got a few more capabilities. And one of them was the ability to set the power of the flippers, which is fantastic. The only problem is that, and it actually happened to me when I got the update and I started to play games, none of my flippers worked, and it's because there was a small bug that was introduced that set your flippers to 0 and set your flipper maximum angle to 0. So every time you press the flipper button, the flippers didn't move because it was told to not move. Maximum angle 50, right? So instead, what you need to do is you need to manually put them in. I'm pretty sure this is going to be fixed in the next update. This is only if you have purchased the program since the last update and are still waiting for the next update. It's just a real minor thing. You know, stuff like that happens. When I did the Shiva engine and FPX engines, you know, I constantly made mistakes and accidentally released it. So, you know, and they were really stupid and really minor mistakes that you would think that I would never make after 22 years. But guess what? So anyway, we'll just. So what you need to do is you can either move that around, or you can just highlight it with your mouse. Just press 0.8. There we go. Fixed. Okay. Flipper rest angle you don't really need to worry about. I will explain that in a future video how you can use that to adjust your flipper shots. But in the meanwhile, don't worry about it. Okay, so anyway, I've already, quite literally in 30 seconds, I've actually made Pinball Builder playable. It's, you know, as I said, very minor little mistakes, but they do have a huge impact, and especially with Star Destroyer, because the way it was, you couldn't even get a game started because it kept hitting that post. And you know, with the other games, you can't play it. If you just bought the program itself, you wouldn't know what to do to fix it, and you wouldn't be able to play any of the tables if you just purchased the program. So, and you would have absolutely no clue what to do. So I just decided to show you. You can say that it sort of makes the program look a little bad that it was actually released in that kind of condition, or at least updated. But you know, from my point of view, I'm going to give it a lot of leeway. This is so early. This program has such amazing potential, but you know, there's going to be some rough spots. Let's put it that way. So you just gotta you know, understand that, and that within the next month, within the next 2 months, things are going to get a lot better. I have a feeling that the progress of this particular program is going to be very rapid. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should also mention the most obvious solution. The bumper should be put. Just move them up. Move the bumper for that. It's actually a little bit more centered, isn't it? Well, anyway, I will end this video right now. I just wanted to do a very quick video on how to fix the issues. So in the meanwhile, happy pinball. Talk to you later.